Hey guys, this is Sports with Dylan. The group stage of the World Cup is now over, which means we're starting to get a picture of how each team is playing, what each team actually has. We normally don't see the teams play as countries, so we're now starting to see how each team performs and how far they might go in the World Cup. I'll admit, I'm just the tiniest bit disappointed because Canada was eliminated. It was kind of expected because Canada is not a very good team. They don't have a history of being a great soccer team. They did quite well this year and actually made the World Cup, but they're still not an amazing team. I believe this team has a future. I don't think they'll win the World Cup anytime soon, but I think they'll start to go a bit further. But for now, they still need to build up this roster. And they will need at least 4 more years to be able to do that. Sticking with the division, Belgium was also eliminated. That is quite a bit more surprising because Belgium is a good team. Most European teams are quite good, especially the Western European teams. So the fact that Belgium did as badly as they did is not a great sign for them. I do not know why they lost that badly, but they somehow managed to. Another shocker from a European team was Germany, who was eliminated. That is probably the most surprising result so far in the World Cup, that Germany, of all teams, was eliminated. Because Germany isn't just Belgium. Belgium is good, but Germany is another level. They're quite a bit of a bigger country, so they have a wider selection of players to pick from to join their team. You find that is one of the major factors. Once you're a European country, the bigger of a population you have, then the more choices you have. So Germany had tons of choices. And they have a history of success. They have 4 World Cup wins. I thought it was only 2, actually. I had to look. It's 4 World Cup wins. And yet they got eliminated in the first round. So now we know which 16 teams will move on to the World Cup playoffs. So it is time for my predictions. First of all, I predict the Netherlands to beat the USA. USA has done better than expected this year, but I still can't see them as a very good team that's going to go very far. So, I have to give the Dutch the win. Next up is kind of the same scenario. I cannot see Australia managing to beat Argentina, which means that Argentina must pull off the win. And then you make it more interesting. You got Japan and Croatia. Japan has played unexpectedly well this World Cup. Meanwhile, Croatia actually made the last World Cup final. I am going to put my faith in Croatia. I think Japan had a weaker division and took advantage of that, and I've got to give them credit for that. I think they are a good team, but I still think Croatia's better. Next up is obvious. South Korea is in a similar situation to Japan. They've both been good this year, but it's Brazil. I cannot pick against Brazil, which means I have to pick Brazil. Next up, you got France and Poland. Poland is fine, but France just finished winning the last World Cup, so I've got to pick France as well. Next up, it's England-Senegal. I am picking the upset here. I think Senegal could actually pull this one off, and I'm sort of picking this to tick off my friend who's an England fan. But I'm also picking this because I do not think England has inspired much confidence in the opening round. They didn't do that much for me. They're fine. They won the games, but they didn't really play. Meanwhile, Senegal was doing really well. I am surprised. And I think they could honestly manage to pull the upset on England in this game. It's a long shot, don't get me wrong. But I think it is a possibility. You know what? Let's go with the upset again. I loved how Morocco played. I know they're playing in the division of the team I was rooting for, Canada. But even still, they played well. I've got to give them credit for that. So I think they might manage to beat Spain. I know this is probably an even bigger upset than the one I last predicted. But I think Morocco is a really good team this year. Meanwhile, Spain is kind of in the same situation as England. I don't think Spain did that much to prove that they're a good team. They didn't show me that they deserve to win this. But I think Morocco could legitimately win. Again, another huge long shot. Probably going to be wrong on this one. But I do think it's a possibility. Lastly, it's Portugal, Switzerland. I've got to go Portugal because I can't pick Switzerland. I think they're a fine team, but Portugal is like Spain. They are a really good soccer team. And normally Spain is better than this. Like I said, I'm picking the upset because I think Spain will blow it. But I don't think Portugal will do the same. I'm not going to go through the whole bracket here. But all in all, my World Cup champion pick is Brazil. Now, it seems like I'm just picking the obvious here, the favorite. But I legitimately think Brazil has by far the best team in the World Cup. None of the European teams have inspired that much confidence in me. All of them have been upset. And there's been a lot of new teams. But I don't think any of the new teams, Japan, South Korea, Senegal, Morocco, I don't think any of them can make it all the way yet. Because they're still young and they do not have championship experience like all the others have. But I do think Brazil can pull it off a 6th time. Because I view them as the strongest team by far. When you watch the highlights, they are significantly better than all of their opponents. And I don't think I've seen that from any of the European teams. So, it's tough to say. It's still early. This pick will probably change, but it might not. We will see. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys again soon.